All right, I played that out of respect of my former MC that I retired in good standings. I'm gonna get comfortable a little bit. This is my former MC. Okay, this was my name. Okay. This was my time in, which would have been, to this day, if I would have stayed in, it would have been 14 years. Alright? This is the patch. This is my retired cut. Okay? Yeah, and in the MC world, you got the right to call them cut. Okay? I retired out in good standings of my club in the past. And I'm not here to advertise or doing that kind of thing of my former MC, but it's a part of my life and how it led me to and back to the Lord. This is us in Martin County. This is a picture. This is Martin County chapter that I was president of. Let's give you some dates. This is me right here, another brother, and some other pictures in there. These things were very much real in my life, and all I felt I needed to go into my testimony, and all this is a part of my testimony. A lot of people don't know who I am and who I was, and that's what this is about. This is so you can hear my story a little bit. It's long. I'll tell you, it is long. When I started off in the GR back in 2006, actually, it was 1/18/86, and I retired out in 4/30/16. I got a tattoo on my belly, okay, and that I still have to touch up. I thought I was gonna be Billy Bad Butt and put it on my stomach, and it's a tough tattoo to take. It's different on your stomach. I got them all over my body. I have the, you can see this, that's GRFFGR, okay? These were the things that represented my former club. I respectfully retired and was able to get their blessings to start Hell Raiders. I also went to all the dominants because that's what I know, okay? They want no COC. They want that kind of stuff. That stuff didn't, that was not even available to a Christian MM or any of that type of thing when I got in and around this life. I was raised in the Bull City of Durham. My sister dated one of the leaders of, or the leader at the time. I'll just say William. I used to swim in his swimming pool as a child, and that was Hell's Angels in Durham many years ago. It's where I was raised. That's all I knew at the time. I didn't know about really that many other clubs because they were who they are, and they've been a very dominant club, and they've done a lot of changing through the years. And I'm not here to try to promote them or anybody else. This is just my testimony. This is just my story, okay? I was just like any other kid. I was made to go to church on Sunday, and pretty much forced. And you could kind of read between the lines on where I'm going to go with that. But I got saved when I was 10 years old. And when I hit my teen years and all them hormones and everything was going on, I was tempted by a woman. This woman was a witch. Her mother was a witch. I was scared to death. I'm like, yeah, that's some demonic stuff and all this, that, and the other. God called me then, but I'll get back to that. But God called me then, and I didn't know what it was all about, because God gave me a gift of sight, man. I could see things on people, feel things on people. I thought I was just a crazy little weird kid. But anyway, I was in and out of the faith. I would backslide many years, rededicate my life. Backslide many years, rededicate my life. I was pretty much a weekend drunk. I was in every strip bar in the surrounding counties. I knew all of them's name. I dated one chick named Mercedes for a long time, out of Durham. Some of y'all that know me is going to remember some of this stuff. I think it was Johnny's. And they had a hotel right beside the strip club. I used to rent a room there permanently. I had a room. Okay, this is how much I was into that life. And again, I was in and out of the faith. I tried to get my life right. I said, hey man, maybe I need to settle down. I was listening to my mom, and maybe I need to settle down. And I married pretty much my second love. My first love was a witch. She brought me down the wrong road, and you know, and thing about it is I was really the problem in the relationship, because I was very jealous, very this, very that. It was very, very bad. But you know, when your first love, your mind just don't know how to take it. And I was young, and I've never been with a woman, and she was the first person. So I don't know if y'all have ever been through that kind of thing, but it's tough. I don't know if this is going to end up being a life story or whatever, but it just kind of leading you from a backslidden state, and then why it took place we're going to get into, and all these things. But I had a lot of things happen to me as a child. It was never abuse from my parents or anything like that, but it was other people that was close to me in the family, and things happened, and I think it kind of messed me up a little bit. I was also dyslexic, is what they called it, when it was really ADHD, ADD, which I was diagnosed years later with, that kind of thing. And but it's hard for him to correct you when you're older, and I can't take stimulants. I've done my fair share of stimulants. Anyway, I'm going to try to speed this along a little bit. I guess y'all can see kind of how it was. I had what most teens have is those moments in your life. So I took up a lot of different things, done a lot of different things, and got involved in a lot of different groups. Which didn't help matters. I was, hustling in between friends and making some side hustles, doing, without saying too much. I think you can understand what I was doing. I messed around with freebasing and stuff like that. I went through that addiction. I went through, later on, I got into a little bit of, actually just around that same time I was messing around with Delata. They had Delata back in my day. Some of y'all don't know what Delata is. I got into four-way window pane, all that stuff. Just really stupid stuff, man. It was acid, and it was crazy. And I know a lot of people that took that trip never came back. So it was bad. It was bad. Been addicted to a lot of different things, and was able to break free from them as time moved on in my life. Anyway, now I'm going to get to the other portion. Is I ended up with my second love, and went through a really bad marriage with that. I was trying to be a good person, and and I was running a business. It was very, very successful and We were going to church every day. We had a child together, which I'm very proud of him. He's has a very reputable career now. But we went to church every day and we done good. Well, some things happened, man. Some cheating took place and all these things went on both halves. And it got nasty. It turned into a very nasty divorce. I was in and out of jail, and things were going on because I had a very violent temper. It got crazy. So I ended up losing my businesses. Everything went south. I was flat on my face again, asking for repentance. Just went through hell, and I had no one to hell raid my life until, and this is where it's gonna get kind of crazy. And the reason why, my former club means even more to me than you could imagine, because of where I was. I went into a very dark place, started drinking profusely, pretty much a slush, an alcoholic, but I was working, I was doing my thing. And my cousin, Big Tweet, as they called him, he's the one who created the middle design of this shirt right here. He was an artist. He created that middle design. This was the chapter that I started in, was actually out of Wayne County. Okay, this was the shirt that I keep, man, in remembrance of these things. And I won't go into the meaning on the shirt and stuff like that. But that brother found me in Grifton. That brother and my cousin found me in Grifton, North Carolina, just killing myself slowly. And I was piddling with a bunch of different stuff. And he said, "Hey man, why don't you come hang out with me, man? You ain't gonna sit around here and do this stuff, blah blah blah. Hey, come hang out with me." And I'm getting ready to patch out with this club. I said, "A club? Who? Hell's Angels?" That's all I knew, really, because I've been in Durham all my life. He said, "No, man, it's the Ghost Riders." I'm like, "Huh, okay." And so I didn't have nothing else to do. I went out and started hanging out with that chapter, and we started doing a lot of traveling and stuff like that. Now, me, very military minded, and very trained in those departments and hand to hand, all this, that, and the other. I was kind of welcoming. I was like, all right, let's see what we can get into. Well, we did. We got into a few things, and I actually sort of proved myself before I even started prospecting. And then I decided to prospect. And actually, my cousin patched out, Big Tweet, and then he, I was right behind him, so to speak. Finally was able to get in, and I started off with my top rocker, as they called it, and I had that top rocker, and then I earned my bottom rocker, and then I earned my center patch. Took me over 90 days. I know it was a good little while. It could have been up to a year, but I proved myself. I earned my top, my bottom, my center patch. And hang on, I'll show you something. Hang on. Then this is called a blood drop ring. Okay. This I earned in Wayne County. It has my name engraved. My bike name, which was Curley. People still call me Curley. Okay. I'm not going to get into how you earn that ring or anything like that, or their processes. That I'm not here to do that. I'm here again trying to tell you my story. Well, through that time, I met a bunch of different brothers. I met one that, man, he went through a hard time, and I mean a hard time. He was staying at our clubhouse and stuff like that, and just things was going on, and some I didn't understand because I was still prospecting. But I had patched out. I got my name. It was a very, very cold night. It was the first part of the year. It was a very, very cold night. Got many, many pictures of that day. It was one of the proudest moments I ever have, and the reason why is because, one, that whole prospect time, man, I could not drink alcohol. I could not get high. I couldn't do any of those things. I actually sobered up. And now, mind you, I was still blessing my food and doing this, that, and the other, and minding my manners and being everything my mom and dad taught me to be. But I still was a rebel, okay? And loved to fight and do all those things back in them days. And so anyway, after that patch out, many months so later, could have even been years, I was talking about a lot of different things. I was into Wicca and witchcraft and studying the Odin beliefs and doing all these different things. That I was a good old heathen. I was a good heathen. I observed watching ministries come, being a fly on the wall, more aggravating really than anything, but they were a gate fee, okay? They were a cash cow. And, we watched them come in our clubhouse and proclaim God, but yet during their out drink some of our members, okay? And I'm not going to get into naming those groups. They know who they are. And we watched these things, and then we would watch one which I respected the most, and they would just huddle up in a corner together, wouldn't ask to bless the food, never asked to minister, but I walked up to them many times, okay, and that's what turned me off to wanting to join them, and I almost did, once I got out of the club life. So anyway, I don't want to get too back and forth on my story. So anyway, I watched a lot of those kind of things, and did not make me want to have anything to do with Christianity. I was like, look at these wannabes, you know what I mean? Look at these guys coming up here acting like they're MC, and acting like they're this or acting like they're that. I just had no respect. But, I had to watch what I say. I was one of them that they put their tracks on our bathroom stalls, and I was the person that grabbed those tracks and threw it at the chest of their president because they didn't ask permission. Okay, I was that dude. I took club life very seriously, and I was always ready for club business, if that makes sense. It will to some of you that's been in the club life. If you don't know, then you don't know. If you know, you know. So anyway, many moons later, a brother of mine, and this is going to blow a lot of you's mind. This is going to blow a lot of my former brothers' mind because they don't even know this. They don't even know this in its entirety. But a brother named Poulcher, okay? A brother named Poulcher. I love that brother. He went through a hard time, but he found Jesus, okay? And me and that brother, he called me over because he was my elder at the time. He was getting ready to retire. And he set me over there, man. He said, man, I hear you talking about witchcraft, and I hear you talk about the Lord, what's your deal? Anything like that. So he started telling me his story. It was so similar to mine, man. In and out of faith, all this, that, and the other, on different levels of mine. But anyway, so he started talking about the Lord. And to shorten this up a little bit, we prayed. And it done something to me. I was like, what is this? We kind of went through this thing, and next thing you know, man, I'm sitting there busting through the crowd and going into the men's bathroom, and I hit the floor that day. Vomit, pee, and everything else on the floor. And I dumped it to the Lord. I asked the Lord into my heart. And didn't even know how I was going to continue being in my MC because my mindset completely changed. When I was sitting there, I remember, and I'm going to try to not get emotional or anything like that when I'm talking about this, but if I do, so be it. But I remember I had my head all the way to the floor, and I could not lift my head up. And I was confessing my sins, and there was many of them. On and on and on, it just pouring out and pouring out and pouring out. And that was the first part of what I call my shedding, man. I was just shedding my past, okay? But when I came up off that floor, I was declaring, and mind you, at this particular party, it was an anniversary party, and I was about 3 sheets in the wind. But I got up off that ground. I was sober. Okay, the Lord took it all. He took my sin. He took the alcohol high out. He took it all. And anyway, people beating on the door. Hey, Curley, let me in. What are you doing? And so I let him in. I got cursed a few times. And but it was the brother curse. It won't like it. But anyway, so I went inside, man, and I was still trying to figure out what just happened to me. I went into our meeting room, and I shut and locked the door, and I kind of finished up business with the Lord. And like, Lord, how am I going to do this? I mean, is this what's going on? What does this mean? What do you want me to do? And it was my time on the bar, and we had a prospect. Thank goodness. I'm trying to remember who that was. I think it was Wired. And but anyway, I was having him serve the drinks, man. I was just taking the money, and I had a hard time wrapping my mind around all that. But anyway, sometime later, I was trying to figure out how I could be a Christian and still be in the club life. So, all right, I'm 26 minutes in. All right, so, it was tough because I was trying to stay around my brothers, because I love my brothers, and I was still dealing with the devil trying to confuse me. And and then the devil sent a beautiful, dark-haired, brown-eyed girl, and well, she was not a good fit for me. And my brother said, "Hey, man, you don't want to do this," and she's kind of wild, and and you're trying to do this thing. And well, then I had this little moment, where I was like, hey, what are you going to be? What are you going to do? Again, this was a shedding in my life to where I was trying to find my place. But here's the difference. When I committed sin, it haunted me like you wouldn't believe. The guilt was more than I haven't felt guilt like that. So I started feeling guilt like that every time I did that. And I was like, wow, man, this is crazy. And so I was like, Lord, I said, please forgive me, and all this, that, and the other. I said, send someone in my life that, I just, I have this need that I just want a companion in my life. I want to, tired of seeing everyone have their old ladies and all this, that, and the other, and I'm sitting here walking by myself, and I don't want to be the whore dog. I don't want to, And then the Lord sent me my wife now. And she went wild. She would sip on a drink from time to time, but wasn't wild. But nor was she really Christian. But she was anti-drugs, drunken, getting drunk. And so when I did slip into that stuff, she was like, hey, if you want to be with me, you can't do these things. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so, again, trying my best, guys, to keep this short. Shortly after that, I found her, and I was very tempted, and we about pretty much made a mistake there as far as us romantically. And I said, hey, this is my deal, and marry me. I just, this is what I want to do. But before that, I went on this journey with the Lord, and He let me know, hey man, you're going to be tried. The devil's going to come after you hard because of where you come from to where you're at now. My God showed me mercy and grace. I'm undeserving of anything in this life, in the breath I breathe. Every morning when I raise my head, I don't deserve it. Man, I've done some rotten things. I've done bad things to bad people, and unfortunately, I've done some bad things to good people. But I was lost. And God sent me my wife, Sheila. And she got me, because of my attraction to her, and and it was wild. It was a good attraction, okay? I knew that this was the woman for me, and this is who I wanted to be with. And so, once we did that, man, it was like, I didn't want to deal with the swinger mess and all this other stuff that was going on around me. And I became closer and closer to the Lord unless I wanted to be a part of those things. And I'm like, all right, well, let me get busy. Maybe I can do more. Maybe I can bring up a chapter that, is not doing drugs and not doing this stuff, but being solid on the brotherhood. 'Cause I didn't have a problem with someone having a drink, just not getting drunk, and sloshy drunk or stupid. But in our rules in the club life was you have to maintain. When you're having an event or whatever, you got to maintain. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe we can build on this. So I was a Christian, starting other clubs within the club, trying to keep it brotherhood and less drugs and alcohol and all these other things, or down to none. And that's really hard to do in the club life, as you all know that are in the club life. And people say, oh, well, you weren't with a real MC. Well, let me tell you, we done everything that all the big dogs done, down to whorehouses. Well, strip clubs, not whorehouses. But, other people ran them, but we were in there, and we protected that whole crowd in our counties and stuff like that. No, we weren't on the level of the 1%. No. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, but they, been around since 1973 and 1975. So it was a respect that that they had, and they were pretty much left alone because they did it right. Well, anyway, I had some things go on, and I was torn between what God would have me do and staying in the club life. And I knew that something happened that night when I said the sinner's prayer, and I couldn't sin anymore. I couldn't go back to the way I was, even though a part of me tried. But every time I got drunk, I had anxiety, or tried to get a buzz, I had anxiety. All these things were going on. I felt guilty. And I knew that when I rededicated my life, it stuck. And it wasn't that I had a desire to do these things. It was just, hey, man, have a beer. And I'm like, and they'll tell you, those that know me, I started drinking sodas. I started doing all that stuff. I just didn't want to have any part of that. And as the shedding of my ways and my flesh, I grew into a deeper spiritual walk with the Father, and He showed me something. Out of a very deep prayer and rebuking of demons in my house, everything that was evil, everything that didn't represent God, and all this, that, and the other. And I started looking at the things in my house that did not represent God and who I was. But when I had that moment of clarity and that spiritual high that I was on, God showed me things. He let me see things. And the feeling that I felt of clarity and closeness to the Father, He let me know that I was divided. He said I was having my cake and eating it too. I was in the club life and doing that. So God called me away from that. He said, hey, if you're really going to walk with me, you need to take up my cross and walk. So I respectfully, after building chapters, trying my best to be a Christian in my former MC that I'm a retired member from, the Lord said, come follow me. And I retired. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. You got me. And let me tell you, when I surrendered myself, and truly got into the presence of the Holy Ghost, there was no looking back. There was no looking back. I tried once, because when I started this ministry, the devil attacked me like you would not believe, physically, mentally, emotionally, and everything. He was on the warpath with me. He tempted me every way he could, and I said no. He came to me with sickness, and I rebuked it. He tried to mess with my wife, and we rebuked it. And God says where two or more come together, there he is. And God taught me and started training me for what was ahead. I was like, well, what is ahead, Lord? What am I going to do? I still want to be able to minister to my brothers, but I really don't want to look like some of the ministries that I've seen, and at the time was very judgmental over. I love those brothers to this day. I talk to many of them. Again, I'm not going to mention any names, but we have relationships with them, because I know that one or two people don't represent, is not who they are at the core. Because you're going to have, when you got thousands of members, you can't, watch everyone's behavior. But it took me a long time to kind of get past all of that, but I did. So God said, hey, I want you to do that, but honor me and follow my discernment. And so now I'm going to get into, after God called me out, and I went through a lot of things, even end up later on getting COVID, and God saw me through that. I really opened my eyes then, and God brought me even closer then. My point is when you got it, I've been rededicated my life millions of times, but when I did it the last time, it stuck. That's what I tell people. If you don't think you got it right, do it again until it sticks. This was our very first patch. And as you see, we were an MM. Because that's all I knew at the time. When I asked around, I said, hey, what's this M thing? Motorcycle ministry. I said, okay, so it's about the Lord. Right? And I said, well, this is what I'm going to do. This is where we started off. This was a very big patch. It has more colors in it than we can make t-shirts of. And without embroidery. So we couldn't really make any shirts. There's a bunch of colors in there. And when I was asking permission for that and this patch, I had two different designs. This was the other design. Okay. But the MM wasn't there. It was on the side. Okay. So it was this patch and this patch that initially got approved. Said whichever one you want. Well, we pulled a safe because this one from a distance started looking kind of like a three-piece patch. But it was like, well, they probably not going to care. We're a ministry. And everyone that I talked to said, hey, man, y'all ministry. I'm not going to get in the way of that. So we kind of started off with this for the first couple, 3 years, till 2016. So from 14, when I was getting this together, 15 when I retired. So actually it was about a year, 15, 16. Yeah, so it was about a year or some change. I started seeing some bondage in this. And I felt like a leash was around my neck, telling me where, you go here and minister, go there and minister, but you can't go here and minister. I was like, well, no, if that's what's going to bind me, then we'll be our own entity. And we'll do something different, which is this, AWM, All Wheels Missionaries. It started off All Wheels Ministers, All Wheel Missionaries, and then turned into sticking with the missionaries. So anyway, to give you some brief history, I'm going to rush this along. This is our patch now for the United States, where it doesn't look like a three-piece patch. We have too many dominants, and it could cause too many issues. All right, but we had these right here, and the UK says, hey man, it's illegal for us to be seen in the 1%ers areas, and it's not going to matter here. And the guys that they talked to there didn't care about this. So these end up being the UK patches. If you want to know why we have 2 patches. Okay, so this is the men's here, and in our couples ministry, there's no solos in this brotherhood right here at all. This is our sisterhood patch right here. Okay, that is for our ladies and couples. This is not our solos. But we do have a ladies patch that we are doing. I thought I put it in my stack, y'all. But anyway, it's just like the sisterhood, like this is, but it has the this look, okay, that we are doing for solo ministry for the ladies, because they have a very special technique in their ministry style, and it's not necessarily leadership per se, but having leadership abilities, but not preaching, not doing none of that, but going out and giving a hand to the homeless, helping us get into places that, to be honest with you, some men can't really get into. You know, there are halfway houses for women. There's a bunch of places that us men really can't get into, and they feel comfortable. There are some rehabs that are largely ladies rehabs that we really can't get into, but the ladies can. So we're branching them off, those that are interested in that, and being solo in this ministry as far as the sisterhood, let us know. And this we're very, very proud of right here. This is Little Raiders, Child of God. This is for everyone under the age of 16 or doesn't drive, or that doesn't drive yet. In our future patches, we're going to put AWM in that blank spot, because we like how that is, and it's very representative of who we are now and who we will remain to be in this blank spot. So future patches will have that in, and then others will have the original patch. But anyway, that's a very brief and fast testimony and history, because all of this is who I am now, and I don't have to walk around with a bandana. I don't have to walk around with chains, okay, or try to look cool. I don't have to call myself a Christian and smoke cigars and, well, we believe in the Lord, and we're not about the boast and the pride. Now, people say, well, I see on your website that you don't go to MC clubhouses. So now I'm going to explain that, okay? We do not go to MC clubhouses to minister, okay? That is well covered. That is well covered by the MM crowd. All right? We will go there, or unless, we're asked to go there to talk, but we will go there voluntarily to let people know who we are, not wearing our patches, but to go, hey, this is who we are. And those meetings are very, very hard to get, because we're not trying to be an MM and we're not trying to be an MC. If anything, you aggravate these folks. We have talked to all the top, but the only people we haven't talked to is the Banditos. We're not really in their territory. And some people say, well, y'all's colors are really close. No, it's not. Okay, we didn't, as a former and as a, very, very well-rounded, military-minded person, these are not MC colors, Marine Corps colors, okay? And that's what those are based off of. Some of our banners may come close, like this. That's close, but that's a banner that we put up outside of our places where we were ministering or meeting at, okay? And even people had something to say about this. This is not. This is yellow, and I'm pretty sure we got some in Texas and all, but this right here is worldwide. This is the Federation of Christian Bikers. Is another worldwide ministry along with Hell Raiders, because we did separate ourselves from everyone, because we were honoring 2 Corinthians 16:17. of coming out from among them and be separate. And those things ran clear to me when I realized we're going to have to do that to separate ourselves. And yes, we probably could have been very thick, very much bigger than we are now, if we would have went straight up MM, not AWM MM, or just MM. Okay, because and then be lazy and go through the COCs and go, hey, can we be affiliated with you so we can have everybody in one place? It is really the smartest thing to do, is to be a part of a COC in your state and go to these COCs and bring you about 4 or 5 with you, men, not women, but 4 or 5 men, and that way they see that you're establishing and you're not coming up in there weak looking. Okay, because you got to remember, if you're going to go in that arena, if you're going to be an MM, if you're going to do that, then you definitely need to go through a COC. So people say, oh, you're against the COC. No, I'm not against the COC. We tried in Alabama and other states and in North Carolina. They don't want to have anything to do with what we're doing because we're AWM, all wheels. So we got 4 wheels, 2 wheels, 3 wheels. Brothers are driving 18 wheels, okay? There's people in the wheelchair. We got foot soldiers in New Zealand. Okay, so the thing is, it's about doing God's will be done and not man's will be done, but we've got to respect that, a balance. Okay, so we go old school. Like I knew as an MC, you go from clubhouse to clubhouse to clubhouse. It takes longer, it's harder, and it's not easy, but it's the proper thing to do. And not just the dominants, but their support. But starting with the dominant that, hey, I don't really have an issue with you, but let me tell you this. The only reason why, this is going to get long, guys, and I'm sorry. The only reason why we decided to drop that too, not only did we see some bondage there, is so many were proclaiming, I'm a motorcycle ministry, was getting busted for cooking meth, gang banging stuff, and going to say, I'm an MC Christian, and ride around with guns in the trunk. Okay, so we had to separate ourselves from that, and we let all the big dogs know, hey, look, we don't have nothing to do with the MM world. We are now a separate entity. And said, well, if you're not going to minister to us, I said, no, it's not that. We will minister to you. We just don't want to come to your clubhouses to minister and do all that stuff, be a fly on the wall. And then we explained to them our story. Hey, we know how ministries can be a cash cow. We don't want to be used like that. But, we can support you in prayer. If you've got a brother, we are most of us are certified chaplains and ordained ministers. We can get in there to your brothers and talk to them for you, and lay hands and do what we do. And when we go to these places, most of them's like, hey man, so you're not wanting to be an MC? No. Well, why are you wasting our time, man? We don't care what you're doing for the Lord. We don't give a blah, 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 blah. Okay? And that was most everybody. And yes, people say, well, you're in North Carolina then. You're in Eastern North Carolina. You're under the Mongols and all this and that. Well, look, we've talked to everyone we need to talk to. We were here through the big push. And the one reason why the big push was happening and the MMs was in the mix is because they weren't true. They were playing MC, trying to look like an MC, and they were being true heathens, starting up Christian clubs, saying we're Christian, and they build up big numbers, and they flip over to be a support for someone else. So the COC had to bring the MMs into the mix of the COC meetings because, one, they needed to test their mud, man. They needed to know who they were and what they are. Okay? And but here's like this. As far as that goes and we're concerned, we're out here by ourselves. This is who we are. We have separated ourselves from that because of these things. That we're not going to be classed with the company we keep kind of thing. Because of that one little, what we felt was, bondage. of that MM. Again, that's not any disrespect. That's just us following our discernment. Okay? But all the COCs, hey man, if you can't be this, if you can't be an MM, then we can't help you. And I said, well, I'm sorry. I guess I told my guys, hey, you want to prop up, you got to go to your dominance. If they put you off, they put you off. Where your soft patches, until you can get yourself established. And someone may require you to go there a couple times to meet. That's fine, but you need to explain to them that you don't want to go there and look like you're a supporter of just them, or make it look like you're siding, or make it look like you're an informant. Let me tell you the thing that as a former MC, that we thought of more than anything is this little ministry was going over here to us, going over here to this ministry, then it was going over here to the 1%. They're just collecting information. And that's the way we look like. That's what it looked like to us. And we don't want to look that way neither. So everyone that knew our stance, our new stance as an AWM, and we're starting it's right here on my jacket. Okay. All Will Ministry Association. And we want to try to get that approved, because not everyone wants to have to deal with that kind of stuff, but we're not sure that we're even going to get into all that yet. But this right here, we decided, hey, we're not against nobody. And everyone thought that we were just against anyone that had an MM. No, we're not against it. We're just don't want to be looked at like, if you're going to be an MC, then you are an MC. That means that you're a club and you're doing club business. We don't do club business. We are former MCs in good standings with our club, former clubs, and by us mixing it up, going to these other places can cause other issues. Okay, and if you're an MC or a former MC, you understand that. So let's just say if I was a part of the red and white, and I decided, or 81, I decided to go over here and hang out with 16 or 13 or whoever else, and I was with them, and I retired, or they allowed me to leave. Now I'm going to go over here and minister over here. No. See, that's not going to float. That's not going to float. And so we don't do it. But will we minister outside of that clubhouse? Absolutely. Will we be at the big events that they may have that would suit what we do, like Toys for Tots or something like that? Absolutely. We would show up in force in those types of places, because it falls in the line of doing a good deed and doing something good for the community. So whether it's Christian or not, it's something good for the community. But to go out and showboat or ride behind anybody and be a shield, or to be a gate fee, we're not interested in doing that. We want to show respect, give respect. This is who we are. You're not going to see us over here at your rival, and we're only here to let you know, man, that we're here, and we hope that we got your blessing, that you might not ever see us again other than passing. If you guys pull up behind us and we're in a ride, we will show respect. We know what we're doing. We're former MC. We get it. We're just trying to do the Lord's work. Okay. But that's why we created this. This is for unity. It's to bring us all together. I have met more ministries than I can shake a stick at. Over 85 plus ministries are following the Federation of Christian Bikers, and quite a few that have joined singularly in this ministry worldwide. We're in Scotland, we're in the UK, we're throughout the United States and coast to coast, even more so than Hell Raiders themselves are, But this is for unity. It's where you stay in your club or you stay in your ministry and you come together with us in unity. And we're also allies with the God Storm movement. Again, that is where politically, which we're trying to get into a political arena with this right here. We don't allow that kind of post or anything like that. But, we'll go to the big presidential sites, whether it's this way or this way, to social support to make sure no one's life gets shot at again. Okay, so we're a part of that movement because we are patriots of this country, and a lot of us are former military. Okay, so we love our country. So just because I'm a Christian don't mean I got to stop loving my country. I've got to, if you're a Christian, be honest with you, you will think about, hey, what can I do to help put someone in a seat that is deservative, that actually believes in our Constitution, that was strongly based out of Christianity. And anyway, not to get into politics. So anyway, that's pretty much it. This has almost been a full hour. And I told y'all this was going to be long. I probably should have separated this in two different things. But this is pretty much my life. Now, I am a Hell Raider. That's what I am. It is not easy to become a Hell Raider. We don't hand out patches. We don't claim territory. We don't have clubhouses. We don't have supporters. We have people that support us generally, but we don't do support patches and stuff like that. Even though we've got the green light to be able to do that if we wanted to. But we are self-supporting. We're in prayer for everybody, but we're not for one individual club or anybody else. We're for everybody. We're for the motorcycle enthusiasts, no matter if you're in a riding club, social club, any kind of club, whatever. If you ride bikes, you're into car shows. We go to car shows. Not everyone wears patches. They got shirts, other things. We got hats that some wear like this. Okay, so we got more people on 3 wheels and up than we do 2 wheels. Okay, we're not seen in your scene because we don't go to a lot of the motorcycle things because where there a bunch of alcohol and partying, we don't get in that. We're big in our communities, our churches. We're all about taking care of our children and doing God's will. Our kids are everything. We're protecting them from the crap going on in the school systems and transgender crap being taught and kids being bullied and stuff like that. There are things that we're a part of that means something to us. But going out and acting like and being a part of or watching wet t-shirts contests or being where these things are going on that represent us as former heathens, we don't do anymore. And that's another reason why we don't go to clubhouse. We know what takes place there. And we know definitely what takes place after midnight. You know what I mean? So we're done with that lifestyle. And it is respectable from our former MCs. We are where we need to be. And I hope this video helps you understand, one, kind of my life in a whole. And there's a whole lot more to it than that, but this is the best I can do within an hour. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And maybe I'll do a separate one going into my testimony a little bit more because there's a lot more to it. But that's just the gist of it and what's going on here with Hell Raiders. So anyway, a little bit of history there. Wow, I can't believe I've been talking an hour. I try to keep it short. But anyway, dear Heavenly Father, if anyone out there, Father, is struggling, Lord, with trying to be a Christian and do your will, but yet they want to, they've been in the same situation I'm in, Lord. Help them, Father, to be able to not break out of chains, to go right back in chains or put a leash around their neck, to stand up and be ye separate and be what you have called them to be, Father God. Look over each and every person that views this video, Father. Change their hearts, dear Lord, for your glory and to expand your kingdom, Lord. Be with us and let your will be done, not man's will be done. But help us always to acknowledge and respect the balance of the world. In Jesus' name I pray, Lord. Amen. God bless y'all.